Welcome, dear friends, to this tutorial on Mother Earth, on how to control naturally plant growth, whether it is in your patio, in your house, or anywhere that you have to control it. My name is Maan, and for those meeting me for the first time, I'm a shaman who healed himself naturally from a tumor in the head. I'm a writer whose book Awakening the Healer Within got the top prize in the States on the Mind, Body, Spirit Book Awards, and I'm also a sacred sound healer. Today I'll be teaching you and sharing with you how to naturally control whatever you have around you. It is so important nowadays because of all the pollution and all the pesticides that are going around the planet. Many of my tutorials go for my students and my followers through my newsletter. So if you're interested in what we're doing today, you can see below the website www.connectingwithmaan.com, and you can register for free to our newsletter so you can get all the tutorials and all the other information that we put out there. You notice, my friends, I said plants, not weeds, because plants are living organisms like us. We only call them weeds out of ignorance, because indeed every plant has a function in this universe that the Creator has made for us. So I don't call them weeds, but if they overgrow in my patio or my garden and I want to control it, I have to do something about it. And most of you know today what kind of pesticides are there in the world that are killing everything. Any pesticide you put in the soil will stay there for 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. And it kills birds, it kills butterflies, it kills bees, it kills all the organisms that make life, that allow pollination of the plants so that fruits and vegetables can grow so that we can eat. So out of karma, like I am sharing this information with you today, please feel free to share it with as many people around you so that everybody knows that there is a natural way for us to control all of that growth. And please feel free to connect with me if you have any questions, either via the newsletter or the email connectingwithmaan.com or my Facebook page Connecting with Maan, so I can tell you more. So this large capacity container that can take up to 5 liters also can take pressure, and it's easy to spray large areas. If you have a smaller area, something like this would be more than enough, just a simple sprayer. Then I am using a wooden spatula, just a normal spatula. For today's experiment I just need 1 liter of water and 2.5 liters of 10% very powerful vinegar, white vinegar, and just some table salt. All these ingredients are available anywhere in any store, wherever you are in the world, and they're not very expensive. In Ireland, this reservoir here can cost up to €10, and all the other ingredients are much more cheaper. So the first thing you want to do is mix the salt with the water, and roughly the rule of thumb is that for 1 liter of water you can take 250 grams of salt. There's 500 grams in here, so I'm going to put more or less the half of it, roughly. It doesn't matter if it's 50 grams more or less. That's the good bit. A bit more, and I'm going to start to mix it gently, taking my time. It's very important that it's mixed properly, because if it's not mixed properly it will get stuck into your spray. So you take your time. One can put up to 350 grams of salts in a liter of water, but 250 grams is enough for what we're achieving here. So we take our time to mix it. So I've been mixing it for a good while, and you can see that the water level has gone down because I took out a little bit just so it doesn't splash and put it already in the container. And it can take up to 5 good minutes to get all of that properly dissolved. Now if you have a little bit at the bottom, it's not a big deal. And I'll start already dissolving a little bit of my white vinegar. You're going to ask why white vinegar? Because white vinegar has less of a chance of creating a stain on your patio or on your stones. So again, with patience, mixing and mixing. Now I'll put a little bit of this in my pressurized container. So first of all, there's no pressure in the container, make sure there's none of it, and then I open the container and I'll start putting it in. And I put half of it because I can see there's a tiny bit there of salt not dissolved yet, so just take a bit more time. And again, this is very important because if the salt is not 100% dissolved, you might have issues later on with your sprinkler or your spraying device. And I can go for all of the vinegar now. Just be careful not to splash yourself. This is vinegar, so you shouldn't need gloves really, but be careful with your eyes. So if you have a pair of plastic goggles that you want to use, you may do that too. But if you do it very gently like I'm doing here, there's no risk of anything. And just use common clothes, because if you do splash yourself with vinegar, you might get a stain on your clothes. So just be careful with your clothes, and you may also want to use gloves, but I don't. And you may also want to use goggles. So now my mixture is fine. So I put all the rest of it in here. And I'll just add my vinegar here to make sure that any remaining salt will be taken also. And again, do all of this very gently so you don't get any splashes on your clothes or anywhere. Obviously work away from children and animals, so you're completely in a quiet space where you can control what you're doing. This sounds well. So again, I put all the rest in here. Now if you're using a device like this, just be careful, because first of all you have to close it. You can get it any shops that sells items for agriculture. So it's properly closed, and then you unwind the upper part and you start pumping. And you start pumping to create pressure. Okay? So that's enough. I feel a lot of resistance from there. You lock it, and now that's my device ready for action. When you get something like that, make sure it has a security valve here, just to let all the air out. So all you have to do when you're finished, you just lift the valve, allow all the air out, and when all the air is gone, then it is very safe to just simply open the whole container and clean it up if you need to, or refill it. So you find the plant. Obviously you don't want to start spraying from above. You want to get close to it, and you want to go to the center of it. So I find the center of the plant and I release my spray and give it a good bit if it's a good plant like that. And that's enough for this big plant. If the plant was smaller, just a simple spray would be enough. For example, these are smaller and they will take much less to spray. Now as I'm spraying, I can notice that the pressure is gone down in my container. I just release the container without opening. I just release the pump and I just pump it back again a few more times, so that this extra air will replace the liquid I have just used. If you have a large area like this with lots of small little plants like that, then you can spray from above, and here you have no problems with decoloration because they're dark stones, so you can spray the whole area like that profusely and keep the plants away from your patio. This is how it looks before treatment. Just a little bit on this one will do. And this is how it looks after one treatment. So this one needs another one, and that's it. It's done. You see, it's not very difficult to do, and you don't have to put more than that. You know, I put 50% of the 10% vinegar and 50% of water and 250 grams of salt with every liter of water. You can do a little bit more, but it's about doing 2 or 3 layers sometimes to get it done. It takes a little bit more time than putting a normal pesticide, but at least you have preserved the environment. Now you have to know that when you put vinegar and salt on soil, things don't grow easy after in that area. So just pick up parts of your house in your patio that you do not want to grow something else in it, yeah, because it will actually neutralize the soil for a while. So you can keep the mix in there for a few weeks, but it's ideal to use it on the spot because these mixes get weaker and weaker with time. So I do it generally when I have like a week. I'm going to do a campaign for cleaning. That's where I prepare my mix. I do a couple of liters and that will do all my patio. I hope you enjoyed it. It's very straightforward and simple. If you need to connect with me for questions, feel free to email me at connectingwithmaan@gmail.com or via Facebook on Connecting with Maan. And you see, it's very simple and straightforward. Please promote it, tell other people about it, because this way we're going to cut down all the chemicals that are killing the bees, the butterflies, the birds, and any life form we have on this earth, so that we can together live as better people on this earth and live longer and happier. Thank you, and stay connected.